Flashback.
And then for August, I don't know, I might actually do the backpacking video I threatened when I got back from Japan. It really depends on how much progress I make after I get back from touching grass.
End of Flashback.
Finally following through on that threat. So here's the gear review plus backpacking video. So first of all, where was I? I was on the John Muir Trail, a trail that runs through the Sierra in California that goes from Yosemite to Mount Whitney, or in my case, about 20 miles south of Mount Whitney to Yosemite since I was northbound. Unfortunately, my hiking partner got kind of sick, so we decided to tap out part way. That's just how it is sometimes. And while we didn't do the entire thing, we did do Mount Whitney and Forster Pass, which, let me tell you, northbound Forster, those last 600 feet, I thought I was gonna die. And then when I hit, we're going northbound, coming up through Sequoia, and then we were going down into Kings Canyon. When I was descending that northern face of Forster, I was getting pissed. Like, it's just so easy, so nice. People were walking up it without any hiking sticks. Whereas, Sequoia said, I almost died. I thought I was gonna die. It felt like I was gonna die. Also just put up a bunch of photos and some videos because even though I'm wearing this balaclava and you can't really see my face at all, which is how I want it, I'm gonna lose my mind just editing this. I'm gonna be embarrassed. So I hope you're ready for some PowerPoint presentations. So first and most importantly, water. I brought 3 1-liter water bottles, and I definitely could have used less water. My hiking partner went with half of that, so 1.5 liters, and he did fine. There's a lot of water. There's a bunch of streams and rivers and lakes in the Sierra, so it's no big deal. However, I'm a big water fan. I slurp water for fun, honestly. Like, that's my entertainment. Another motivating factor is that I have a pump filter instead of something like the Sawyer Squeeze. So filtering water is a bit of a production. So once I start filtering, I really just want to do a whole bunch of water in one go. As you can see, I use these smart water bottles. These are the best smart, not water bottles, #1. If you've done backpacking, you're already familiar with why, but this is supposedly a game dev channel, so I'll give a basic gestalt starting from the top. They got these nice standard gauge necks, so you can put on a filter like the Sawyer Squeeze and it'll fit and you can use it. And compared to some other water bottles, they have the short necks. You don't want the necklets, you want the giraffe necks. Those are the good ones. Next, they really are the ideal shape. There's just a cylinder. There's no fancy ridges, no fancy nothing, none of this or that. It's just straight up and down. And they're nice and skinny too. This is the 1-liter version, and as you can see, it's like about the same length as my forearm. Yeah, that's great. So they can fit. I'll put on some B-roll of this. I swear to God I will. You can just slide them in and out of your external pockets really easily. Whereas something like a Nalgene, which is really, it's wide and not as tall, you can only fit in one of those. Whereas these, I can easily fit in 2. If I had to, I might even be able to fit in 3 into my side external pockets. And also compared to the Nalgene, they're light. Like, they're plastic. They're high quality plastic, so you can squish them and they'll return to their original shape. But compared to Nalgene, which are supposedly indestructible, they're much lighter. And also Nalgene, not indestructible. I popped one of mine by just Delta P.
When it's got ya, it's gotcha.
Delta P, it's the real killer. Next, my bag. I have the Mystery Ranch Radix 57. Before this, I only took it for some rucks and day trips, and it did really well on this longer trip. This bag has a volume of 57 liters, excluding the brain, which is removable, and also the external pockets, which are great. So it can fit a lot of stuff. I think this is Mystery Ranch's newest bag, and it's cool because they try to really go light without sacrificing the comfort and durability that people associate with their packs.
I also had a bunch of doodads that I didn't bother to pack for this video. However, I did pack the most important stuff, however. The aforementioned water filter, my sticks, my headlamp, and my shit shovel. This was the first long trip I used hiking sticks, and I was extremely happy that I did. They really let you go farther and faster while carrying a heavy load on your back, and they help a lot with poor terrain. Had I known they were this good, I would have brought them to Japan with me. Headlamp, invaluable. I had my phone with me, so I always had a flashlight, but headlamps are just so much better because they're hands-free, so you can use it while walking with sticks. This one also has a red light mode, so you don't kill your night vision when you use it. It recharges with a USB-C port. Also, the most important feature, it tilts. This is really great since it lets you illuminate the ground so you can check your footing, and possibly more importantly, it doesn't blind your bros if you turn to face them. This got great mileage because I used it at camp and when we left Alpine early for Mount Whitney, which is to say we woke up at 2:30 a.m. for the summit attempt, so we needed headlamps for that.
Finally, the piece de resistance, my shit shovel. I was digging holes with this bad boy. I'm of southern Mediterranean extraction, so real milk makes my tummy hurt. Now, normally this isn't a big deal since I eat a balanced diet of fruits, veggies, and plenty of homemade yogurt, so I can eat ice cream, cheese, I can even drink unpasteurized milk, so I naively packed a bunch of instant oatmeal for breakfast. Again, I can usually eat this no problem. However, on a diet of freeze-dried food, granola bars, and almonds, it was just a no-go. You know, the powdered milk in the instant oatmeal, it hit me hard. Come the afternoon, your boy was digging holes with, and shitting his brains out. It was bad. So yeah, even without the runs, trowel, absolute necessity. And I've learned from my mistakes. I'm on Team Polenta now, so in the future I'm just gonna be packing cornmeal and maybe put in some. Finally, the interior of the bag.
I just use these garbage bags as my tent liner. They're light, cheap, and waterproof. No need for Tyvek or anything fancy. And of course, tent on top. If you know, you know. I use this Lanshan tent here for the first time. It's a quote-unquote two-man hiking pole tent, but let's be real, unless you have agoraphobia, two-man tents are one-man tents. Since it is a hiking pole tent, it's super light when packed up, but it's a little fussy to set up. It is a 3-season tent, which you can tell by the design and the very generous ventilation. I didn't have any condensation issues, again, great ventilation, and overall, I really like it. Another nice added bonus of my bag's various compression straps is that when I'm feeling lazy, I can just stuff the tent into my bag instead of putting it back into its stuff sack and then shrink it down with the straps. I also had my cooking kit floating around the top of the bag. I have this 750 milliliter pot that fits a 4-ounce gas can, my stove, and a lighter with room to spare, which is my usual loadout for most trips, but we were planning to go 10 days without a resupply, so I had an 8-ounce can. As you can see, I have this itsy bitsy BRS stove, which I just adore. My only complaint is that it does not perform well in the wind, so I'm going to make a DIY windshield before my next trip. I think that I can make one with a cheap baking sheet or a soda can that I should be able to just fit in my pot along with everything else, which would be just perfect. I know, just a pot to heat up water is a big departure from my weekly baking, but by the time we finished setting up camp, I was just about ready to eat anything, so it really didn't matter. So since I had some space to spare in my pot, I didn't have my gas canister in it, and instead I had this little bag filled with a nice cork ball and some resistance bands. I've been dealing with some pretty serious foot injuries all year long, both Achilles tendinopathy and plantar fasciopathy. Basically, my feet are pretty fucked. So I had these to both roll out and stretch the muscles and tendons in my feet after a day's worth of hiking. If you ever had a deep tissue massage, this ball is that. I would not have been happy if I had to hobble along the trail, so this came in clutch. And then I have my important sleeping gear, my sleeping pad and my sleeping bag. I've tried foam pads before, but honestly, they just are not comfortable enough for me. And I could barely sleep on them when I did try them. I know some people can, but that just ain't me. Also, I don't know how well it's going to translate into video, but I'm sorta wide and I like to sleep on my back, so I needed something generous enough for my mass. I've had this sleeping pad for years and I love it. I love how it inflates. I like a real firm mattress, and this gets nice and firm. I honestly like it more than a bunch of real beds that I've slept in. Next, my bag. I brought a 30-degree Fahrenheit bag, which honestly, not the wisest decision. 30 degrees Fahrenheit is survival, not comfort. I definitely got cold, especially when we camped right at the base of Forrester at over 11,000 feet. I was sleeping in my full outfit that night. Fleece, gloves, socks, everything. It was good most nights, but damn, it got below freezing that night, and I wish I brought my 15-degree mummy bag with me. Next, the piece of gear I was legally obligated to bring on the trail, a bear canister. This bad boy is the Bear Vault 500. While grizzlies have been hunted out of the Sierra, there are still black bears. So when a bear locker was unavailable, we had to stash all of our food along with anything aromatic, including sunscreen, chapstick, and trash. Everything had to go inside it. This bad boy fits 3 gallons tops, which can squeeze in 7 days worth of food, maybe 8 if you really pack it in. It weighs a couple pounds empty, but jam full of food, it's at least 50 pounds. Definitely the heaviest thing I had on me, but also I was legally required to bring it, and I need food, so I had to bring it. But also, it doubles as a nice camp chair, so that's nice.
So it is what it is. And it wasn't awful since, again, you can lay it down horizontally like so, right at the bottom of my pack for superior weight distribution. And, and it wasn't awful because at night, it's not even in your pack. You're supposed to put it far away from your camp so that way bears don't learn to associate people with food. And let me tell you, we had a bear encounter. It was the day that we climbed Forrester. So we started that day off by climbing 16 miles. And then, had that 600 feet of I swear I'm gonna die. And then we had to go down. We went another about a mile or so to get the campsite. So when we got there, it was already pretty late in the day. And, we're in the middle of a valley. Well, we're in Kings Canyon, surrounded by mountains. So again, we got there about 7 or so. And, the sun, we only had about an hour before the sun dipped behind the mountains. It got dark and cold. So we set up camp as quickly as we could. I was like, hey, I'm gonna have dinner. So I needed to filter some water because I brought 3 liters, but I was easily going through like 10 liters of water, so I was filtering multiple times a day. It's already getting cold, and we're in the middle of a pass, so the wind is really, it's just starting to whip up the pass. It's real windy. I had everything on, like on my fleece and my windbreaker and my nice little fleece gloves. So I was pretty cozy with all that on. So I'm filtering water, and I had to take my gloves off for that because they're fleece gloves, and you can't get fleece wet. So I'm filtering water, I pump filter, and I'm cold, I'm tired, I'm hungry, I'm just dead to the world. And I hear people at the camp making a commotion. I don't know what they're shouting, and they're like banging sticks together. And finally gets to my exhaustion-addled mind that they're shouting, "Hey bear!" and "Stay away bear!" Were I to be in a better state, were I to be energetic, and energized like those southbounders, me, the northbounder, Chad, dead tired. I just, my plan was I was going to filter water, then I was going to put my gloves back on, and then I was going to have dinner. And if the bear wanted to attack me, then just simply put, so be it. That bear could have me and his maw. I'm eating my own dinner. He'd be grabbing on my thigh right here. Dog, I'm putting my gloves on. So yeah, that was the bear story. I didn't see the bear because, again, I just did not give a fuck. I was too fucking tired. I was dead tired. But people that did see it, they said it kind of looked like a dog, which, I guess it's easy to mistake them for a dog. That's my bear story. You do need the bear can. It is a necessity. Not only are you legally obligated, it's safe. Glad I had it. And it's this nice chair as well. So it's not that bad. Pretty good. It's a twofer. And, below the bear can, I just had spare clothes. I brought 3 socks, my fleece jacket, my fleece gloves, and 1 other outfit. And honestly, this seemed like the perfect amount of clothes. For those of you unfamiliar with being in the backcountry, yeah, you get stinky. That's just how it is. Everybody's stinky, so, it's like mutually assured destruction. It's no biggie. Basically, that's what I packed. I'll try the JMT again, but I would prefer to go southbound next time. Northbound Forster, I thought I was gonna die. I'm not really looking forward to it again. If I can't get southbound permits, I won't say no. I just won't be that happy about it. It was a little reassuring that we did do the hardest parts first. So, you know, everything after Forester is basically downhill. I also just enjoy hiking and backpacking. So I'm a sucker for this sort of thing, you know. Slap 40 pounds on my back and give me a few liters of water, and I'm happy to walk sunrise to sunset, black bears included. And God, it was just absolutely gorgeous there. I hope these pictures and these videos are really communicating just how pretty it was there. And that's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed, or at least tolerated, the digression from game dev and math to another aspect of stuff I do. Next time I do go on a trip, I'll, you know, if this isn't received terribly, I'll include a bit, you know, covering what I did. I probably won't do a full episode again. And just, you know, it's kind of tough with the scheduling, with the trip and everything, and just, you know, having a different video ready. But as always, thank you for watching. I appreciate your time, and I hope you have a good day. If you like the video, please give it a like. And if you want to follow along with whatever I do next, it's probably going to be Game Dev Next. Please subscribe. I don't really use Twitter, but if you follow me there, I'll definitely follow you back. And I swear to God, I'll get back to posting. I swear. Who knows? There's also a dedicated server where you're talking about math, game dev, hiking, and baking. See the description for the link. And speaking of baking, let's get to it.
All right, just to prove that, you know, I am not lactose. Well, I am. Real milk does make my tummy hurt, but, you know, when I eat fruits and veggies, it's not that bad. I made these brown butter and lemon. Yeah, brown butter and lemon palmiers. And as you can see, I really went hard on the brown butter. The trick is to the trick is to add milk powder. So yeah, you can just, when you're browning the butter, you add in some extra milk powder, and just, you know, it's just a pinch of salt. I like salted butter, honestly. So yeah, you can add an extra, and you will get more of the browned butter solids. And that's what I used here. And as I talked about with the, now you know, the milk powder, that's where the lactose is, baby. So yeah, I ate this just fine, and it came out great. I think you know, looking back on this, I actually remember this. I was not that impressed with the brown butter flavor and texture. Was kind of, I baked this at a friend's house though, so that might have been why. Because I made it at home, or I prepared it at home. Then I drove over to their place and I baked it there. So maybe I lost a bit of the textural je ne sais quoi during the drive over. Who knows? And there's also, it's hard to see in this picture, but there's also a bit of lemon zest. And of course, you know, just, you know, I got some pretty good palmier layers. And don't, you know, looking at this photo compared to, you know, my new photos, because I got a new phone finally. My old phone finally bit the dust. You're gonna get some high quality photos. Don't worry, they're gonna be some nice photos coming up. Gonna be able to see every single individual flake. Your money back. But yeah, real milk makes my tummy hurt, but not that badly. So yeah, these came out great. And as always, I think palmiers, they're just super easy. Like, just what a great recipe. And this is exciting because this is the last, well, no, actually I won't say that. This might be the second to last thing I baked. Well, you know, I baked, you know, food as well. I think I also baked chicken and some other things. But this is like, I'll double check, but this might be either the last or the second to last, which is the penultimate thing I baked before leaving for Japan last year. So that's very exciting. So, so that's exciting. And just looking back, wow, you know, now it's the end of September, so really it's been what, like a year and 3 months, so 15 months. Wow, how time flies. How time flies. God, you know, man, that was an action-packed trip. That's an action-packed trip. But yeah, I'm starting to ramble. So I'll cut it off here. The yeast, and you know, no yeast this time. However, I have no guilt, absolutely shameless, so I'm going to use my classic sign off. The yeast in the air is free, so go out there and bake. It's delicious, it's nutritious, it's good for you, and it makes a great gift. And it's just a great way to show people that you appreciate them, and I appreciate all of you. So thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.
Oh, yeah.